Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video where we are going to be talking about money. Today specifically, we are going to be talking about our mindset when it comes to money. I'm going to be telling you guys my story and my tips about how I completely changed my mindset as it relates to money, how I went from feeling broke all the time to feeling rich. And I use the word rich kind of dramatically. I mean, I don't feel rich all the time. I think rich is kind of it's a word with a lot of different, connotations to it, but we could also use words like abundant, we could say comfortable, but really how I went from feeling broke, from feeling like there was never enough, to just really anxious about money, to feeling a lot more comfortable, a lot more abundant, and sometimes even rich. Maybe you're a student and you've got student debt and you're working minimum wage. I've been there. Maybe you're just starting a full-time career. Maybe you've just made a career switch and taken a pay cut. Maybe you are years into your career. Maybe you're a stay-at-home parent. Whatever your situation is, I really hope that this video can just be helpful, shed some light on some tips that really helped me change my mindset and honestly change my life, because finances are such a big part of our life, whether we like it or not. And going through every single day, struggling with our finances, feeling that financial anxiety, feeling like there's never enough, feeling that lack is not a good feeling. I know firsthand how hard dealing with those feelings can be. I feel like you guys who know my videos know that I struggled with those feelings for years and years and years. And over the past couple of months, I've really transformed my situation by changing my mindset. I would love to hear from you in the comments what your current sort of outlook and mindset is towards money. Is it something that you are working on? Do you feel like you've got a great mindset? Let me know in the comments, and I can't wait to chat with you down there. And without further ado, let's just get into this video. I want to start off this video with just a quick kind of about me and my story. Those of you who are familiar with my channel probably know this, so well by now. I feel like I say this in every video, but I grew up with a lot of financial anxiety in the house and in my family. My parents fought about money a lot. And outside of my family, there are also, certain media influences that influence the way that I grew up thinking about money. So in order to help me be more concise, I wrote down this list of what money was to me growing up and sort of how this all built my mindset around money, all the way from my childhood to my 20s. So ever since I was a little girl, money was something to be feared. Money was like, scary, and it was a big deal. Budgets were not talked about. Investments were not talked about. Savings was not really talked about. Money was something that everyone else had, but we never had enough. I think a lot of that comes from the media and like what we see on TV, like even, in those kids shows or those movies that we would watch as a kid, people all lived in like these huge suburban houses. Everyone had cars, everyone had maybe a pool, and like, that's just not reality for so many people. Although it is, the American dream. Growing up, there was never enough money. You could never have enough. I think that is still true to this day. I still feel that way. But something that I'm working on with changing my mindset is maybe you could always have more, and it's okay to want more, but to know that what you have now is enough. Money was something to fight over. Money was something that moms and dads or couples fought over, and it was okay to fight over. It was very normal. It's just what you did. Money was something to hoard. It wasn't something to spend on other people. Like if you had it, it was something for yourself. You don't want to buy dinner for anyone else. You don't want to buy gifts for anyone else. It was really like to kind of keep to yourself, which we'll get into, but is a very lack mentality. And lastly, money was something for men. And this came a lot from the media. This came from what I think is a message that is constantly being pushed towards women, is that you need to marry a rich man, that men are here to be breadwinners and providers. And obviously the narrative of that is changing so much now, which is amazing. But sometimes I need to remind myself that growing up, that was the narrative that was pushed on me, by movies and TV shows and magazines. So those are all the messages that I kind of had that formed my relationship with money throughout my childhood, throughout my teen years, throughout university. I think university is where I really started to struggle with my finances because I was living alone. I was a student, I was a full-time student, so there was only a certain amount of work that I could do to earn money, which was like minimum wage part-time job. And I was accruing a lot of debt because I was studying and I was taking on student loans. I was also very much taught that debt is the enemy, debt is very bad. And so as long as I had debt, I couldn't enjoy life and I couldn't, spend money comfortably. I had to basically feel guilty for everything. So I felt scared and I felt guilty. I feel like from the moment that I left home and moved to Montreal to like last year. When I graduated university, I worked really, really hard and got a really great job as a management consultant where I earned a great salary. And even that wasn't enough. I didn't feel like it was enough. And I had these horrible spending habits that, even though I was earning a great salary, had me living paycheck to paycheck, resulting in always feeling scared and like there was never enough. Things got a lot better for me when I paid off my debt. That was during COVID, where I had this kind of wake up call of like, I can't keep living like this. I can't ignore my debt, go shopping every single day, go out for drinks multiple times a week, eat out all the time. I can't live like this. And so the pandemic was really that slap in the face for me. That's where I started to get control of my finances. I started watching a lot more financial content. I started being more careful with what I was buying and what I was doing. There was also nothing to do, so like I couldn't keep up a lot of those habits that I used to have. And when I did pay off my debt, it was a huge weight off of my shoulders. But did I feel secure, right? I thought that once I paid off my debt, I thought that the moment I paid off my debt, I would feel so secure I'd never have another problem as it came to money in my life, right? Did that happen? No. And that is because until we change our deep-rooted thoughts and our mindset about money, we will always have that habit and that tendency to feel scared, to feel anxious, and to feel like there is just never enough. Okay, so that's all the kind of background about how and why I had such a negative mindset around money. And I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not, blaming the media. I'm not blaming my family. So many of us grow up this way and grow up seeing those things and hearing those messages that lead to this mindset that we have. And there's no point in pointing fingers or blaming. Rather, I think it's just important to understand why we feel this way, kind of where it comes from, so that we can work on undoing those patterns. Now let's get into the things that I did to change my mindset. I want to start off by saying I'm not perfect. I just gave you guys kind of all of my baggage, or some of it, and it's gonna take years to undo all of that. It's not an overnight thing, but for the last 6 months, I have been consciously and actively doing these things, and it has gotten so much better. So in 6 months, if I can have this sort of transformation, imagine what can happen over the years. And that's what I want for you guys. So let's get into my tips, and I really, really, really hope they will be helpful. The first thing I did is I switched to a cash budget. I could go on and on and on for days and days and days, videos and videos and videos about how amazing the cash envelope system, cash budget has been for my budget in general, but also for my mindset. I will link up here and down below my video about getting started with cash envelopes. Every single month, I post an update on how my cash budget is doing, restuffing my envelopes and all of that. But really quick, a cash budget is where you allocate a certain amount to various categories of spending. So things like groceries, dining out, treating yourself, personal care. Those are just some of my categories. And every month I put money, cash money, into those envelopes. When I run out of cash, you're done. So it's a really nice way to set a budget and also stick to your budget, which I think having that structure and having those parameters, showing you what you can afford and what maybe you can't afford, is really gonna help your mindset, because there's no more confusion, there are way less blurred lines, and I just think having a budget actually builds your confidence, which really translates to an improved mindset. Cash helped me take control of my finances when I never ever felt like I had control, so that was just really, really good, like I said, for my confidence. And by taking control, it showed me that I don't have to cut out very much. Like, I can really afford a lot of the things that I want. You can make room in your budget for the things that you want and cut out the things that aren't really important to you, so you can spend comfortably and confidently on those things that make you happy. And I think for a lot of us, that financial anxiety comes from worrying that we can't afford those things that make us happy, or that we can't save our money, or that, we're never going to be able to afford this big purchase. But when you take control, you know that you are actively making steps to afford those things, to save for that purchase, whatever it may be. The second thing is that spending on things that make you happy, I think it raises our vibrations. And without getting into the whole spirituality law of attraction, raising our vibrations makes us feel good, and it helps attract more to us. So if we love going out for coffee and it makes us so happy, and we're happy to spend that money going out for a coffee, we're in turn going to attract positive energy that brings us more money to save, yes, but also to continue going out for coffee and doing those things that we love. So that can be done with a digital budget, that can be done with a pen and paper budget. But what I really love about the cash is that there's something so abundant about holding cash. Like right now, look at this, I'm holding $200. That's a lot of money. So when I have $200 in my hands like this, I feel abundant, I feel rich. When I sit down every month to stuff my cash envelopes and I'm holding $1,000 cash in my hands, oh my gosh, I feel so good, I feel so abundant, I feel so confident, and that becomes the energy that I'm radiating and putting out there towards money. You can't feel broke when you're holding $200 in your hands, when you're holding $1,000 in your hands. And it's pretty hard to feel broke when you go to the coffee shop and you pay with cash, knowing that you've thought about this purchase, that you've budgeted for this purchase, and that you're confident in this purchase. You don't feel broke, quite the opposite, you feel rich, you feel abundant. So switching to a cash budget has been so amazing for my mindset, and I think it's really the perfect sort of intersection with tangible budgeting, as well as that spiritual and that energy element of the cash having that abundant feeling. I know cash can seem a little bit dated, or it can even seem daunting to switch over to a cash envelopes budget, but trust me, it made such a difference, and it is so, so, so worth it. Let me know if you would like to see a video all about cash budgeting and how to get started. I would be so happy to do that video for you guys. But in the meantime, I definitely recommend looking it up and maybe getting started with it if this piqued your interest. Now, my second tip is mindset shifts. I just spoke a lot about how good it feels to spend money on things that we love, like coffee. It could be things like clothes or skincare, eating out in nice restaurants, whatever it is for you. But we all have those things that we have to spend on that, we don't like. For me, one of those things used to be gas. I used to want to cry every time I had to fill up my gas tank. Like literally, I would want to cry. I'd be standing there at the pump filling up gas, like just so resentful of the fact that I had to put gas in my car and that gas is so expensive. Every time I went to fill up gas, I hated it. So what kind of energy am I putting out there? I'm putting out lack, I'm putting out scared, I'm putting out resentful. Not good vibes. I wish I could pinpoint the exact moment that I decided to change my mind around pumping gas into my car, but I no longer hate putting gas in my car. I think it's because I've really started to love driving. I've become a lot more confident driving. And I guess I should preface this by saying I only learned how to drive like within the last 2 years, and I only got a car like a year and a half ago. So it's not like I had years of putting gas in my car or years of driving experience. And as I grew to love driving, as I became more confident behind the wheel, I really stopped hating putting gas in my car, because instead of being resentful of the cost of gas and having to pay $100 every time I had to fill up my tank, I started being grateful of the fact that I have a comfortable, safe way to get from point A to point B. That I can get in the car and go to an extra special dog park with my dog because I have a car, and this wouldn't be possible without my car. Because I can get in the car and drive to Ottawa to see my family whenever I want, because I have complete freedom because I have a car. And the car doesn't move if you don't put gas in it. So rather than being so resentful about gas, I really started being grateful for it, and also being grateful that I can afford to put gas in my car. So now I love pumping gas into my car, because I know that I'm fueling this vehicle that safely and comfortably gets me from point A to point B, and is a feeling of freedom. There are so many of these annoying purchases. Another example could be, let's say, our lighting bill. Oh, we gotta pay the light bill. Why don't we be so grateful that we have lights on in our home? When you change your mindset to a mindset of gratitude and thankfulness and just appreciation for whatever it is you're putting your money towards, you're gonna feel so much better when you do pay for that thing. You're maybe even gonna understand why you can't get your nails done this month because you did a road trip, so you had to put gas in your car. And you'll be okay with that decision. And all of that is gonna help shift and shape your mindset around money, again, from that anger, resentment, fear, to spending freely and being grateful for everything you spend your money on. Another area that I am currently, as we speak, working on changing my mindset around is gifts. So I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I always felt like money was something that had to be kept to yourself, and I didn't really enjoy spending money on other people, and that is just like an ugly feeling of mine. It's it's not a good trait. Like, I think it's nice to be generous when you can, and it's beautiful to give and receive gifts. And something that I'm working on is like, I love receiving gifts, so why do I want to be so negative around giving a gift or resentful? I think it's an amazing thing to be able to spend your money on someone else and be able to give them something that makes them happy or makes their day, however big or small it may be. So I'm really actively working on changing my mindset around giving gifts to others, because again, giving a gift is so abundant, it's so rich, it's so positive. Now, along with mindset shifts around things that we have to spend money on or are going to spend money on, I guess that's another point, is that you don't have to spend money. Like, you don't have to put gas in your car. You can stay home, you know? You don't have to pay your lighting bill. You can sit in the dark, but you don't want to do that. So let's have a positive mindset when we do pay for those things. Now, on the other hand, it's a reality of life for most people that we can't afford everything that we want. And so there are gonna be things that you might like to spend money on, but you have to choose not to spend money on them. Rather than being angry or upset, disappointed that we can't spend money on those things, or we have to cut these things out of our budget, I think we can also choose to look at that with a positive light. Okay, maybe I can't afford to go out for dinner and drinks 3 times a week like I used to, but I can take this opportunity to improve my cooking skills by staying home and cooking an affordable meal. The other night, I, on the fly, made my own like sparkling lemonade with a soda stream, and I made simple syrup and I juiced a lemon. It literally tasted like real lemonade, and it was so good and so satisfying. And I probably saved like, you know, $6 big bottle of lemonade, or who cares? But you can have fun by staying home, and rather than being like, oh, I can't go out, I can't afford to go out, like, oh, this sucks. Flip it to the positive and see it in a positive light. Another example of something that I've done with that is my nails. I talk about this all the time, but I've really learned to love doing my nails at home. I do my gel nails at home. I've slowly gotten pretty good at it. I used to spend like $60 or $70 every 4 to 6 weeks on getting a manicure. I did that when I was a student and I could not afford it. I don't know what I was doing. Do I wish that I could just not even think about it, go get my nails done and come home with like gorgeous nails? Yes, I wish I could. But there are things to me that I would rather spend money on, or I would rather save more money. So I'm choosing to cut it out of my budget, and rather than be upset about it, I've made it a fun project to learn how to do my nails at home. I can now do my friends' nails. I take it as my me time. I watch TV, whatever. And that's just way more positive and a way better mindset than being upset that you had to cut something out of your budget. Because we're all gonna have those things that we have to cut out. It's not the reality for most of us that we can spend on whatever we want and save for whatever we want and have everything that we want. And that's okay. Number 3 is gratitude and affirmations. I will just touch on this very, very quickly, but gratitude goes such a long way. Being thankful for the roof over your head. Maybe it's not as big, beautiful of a house as we see on TV, but it keeps you warm and it keeps you safe, and maybe it's where your family or your dog lives. There's always something to be grateful for. And when we focus on gratitude for what we have, rather than reflecting on what we don't have and feeling disappointed or upset, we can absolutely change our mindset every single day. There is no room for anxiety, for fear, for anger, or disappointment when you are in a mindset of gratitude. I personally find it really helpful to write down what I am grateful for, because it really just takes me out of my head and really focusing on the gratitude. I think it's really powerful to write it down. So I like to do that in my journaling. My daily agenda also has a gratitude prompt, which is really nice, but you can also just think about it in your head, maybe when you're walking around and throughout the day as well. It's always really nice to kind of just challenge yourself to focus on gratitude, you will see an incredible difference in your mindset and your life when you focus on gratitude. The next thing that really helps is affirmations. So positive affirmations about anything in your life can be really helpful. I am going to have a great day today. I am in control of my life. I'm a lucky girl. But I really especially love financial affirmations such as I am wealthy, I attract money, money flows to me, abundance flows to me, I can make money doing things that I love, I am good with my money. Positive affirmations, whether they're spoken out loud or again written down, are so powerful. I'm pretty sure there's like science that has proven that it like changes the chemistry or whatever in our brains. They're good for you, okay? They're really good for you. And I just love positive affirmations so much, especially when you start your day doing a positive affirmation. I used to wake up thinking about my debt, thinking about the things I can't afford, thinking, oh my God, my rent's so expensive. What am I gonna do? And those thoughts would carry with me throughout my entire day, leading to those feelings of anxiety, of never having enough. When you start your day with positive affirmations, you carry those positive energies throughout the day. And I really notice a difference in my day and in my mindset when I do positive affirmations. I want to get better at doing them even more frequently, but they are just so powerful. So if you combine gratitude and positive affirmations, and you can literally do them at the same time, like you can write down 3 things you're grateful for and then 3 positive affirmations. If you do that every day, or you try and do that most days, you will see an incredible shift in your mindset. Okay, my very last tip is that you can constantly change your mind. Like I said, my mindset is not, you don't flip a switch and your mindset changes for good. That's not the way our minds work. Especially if you have a more anxious brain, you will need to constantly remind yourself of these things. And that's okay. You get to constantly remind yourself to feel grateful, to feel abundant. If you feel yourself going to pump gas and starting to feel that ugh, or you feel yourself going to buy a gift and starting to feel that ugh, remind yourself, it's a privilege to put gas in my car. I love my friend, so I'm happy to buy them a gift. Reminding yourself to be grateful for. That's something I challenge myself to do all the time. When I start to feel anxious, I remind myself something that I'm grateful for, or I will say a positive affirmation. So if I'm looking at my bank account or I'm looking at my credit card statement and, oh no, it's high and there's not enough money in my bank account, I tell myself, it's okay, relax. I always work things out and I am abundant. I will figure it out. I'm so grateful for the life that I have. I have everything I could ever want and need. I'm living my dream life. There's no need to worry. So how quick that was? Telling yourself that, like even me just saying it out loud, is very powerful. It does something to your mind. It does something to your heart, to your spirit. Like it's incredible. So you might have to remind yourself of this every day. You might have to remind yourself of this multiple times a day. But slowly but surely, you will change your mindset with these tips. And you'll change your life as a result. I'm not even being dramatic. The last thought that I want to leave you with is sometimes our thoughts are not real. When I learned this, I think I learned it like on a podcast or maybe through my therapist, that not all of the thoughts we have are real. That is also really powerful. If you wake up feeling broke, feeling like you're never enough, feeling like all you ever do is fight with your partner about money, you don't have to believe that thought, because it's probably not true that all you do is fight with your partner, that you never have enough. It's probably not true. So recognizing that these anxious thoughts and these negative thoughts and these negative voices aren't always telling the truth, we can then replace that thought with a thought of gratitude, with a thought of positive affirmation, with any of these tips that I said throughout the video. And that is how you change your mindset. So you guys, that is my story. Those are my tips about how I completely changed my mindset towards money, how I went from feeling broke to feeling abundant. I really hope this video helps you. I really hope that it helps you on maybe your journey towards changing your mindset about money. If you want to keep up with my money journey, please subscribe. I put out videos like this all the time, as well as more concrete videos looking into my budget. So I hope to see you in another video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will stop talking and see you next time. Love you. Bye.